Ever heard about a case where friends became, like, digital detectives?
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it is. So this woman, Lisa Stone, 51 years old, from Dallas, vanishes, right? Back in June 2010.
Okay.
And get this, her friends, they noticed she, like, went MIA on Facebook. Poof, just gone.
Wow.
So they start their own investigation because the police, well, they weren't too concerned at first.
Really?
Yeah. And that's what we're diving into today, the whole mystery of Lisa Stone's disappearance.
This sounds like a real-life mystery novel.
It totally does. We're pulling from a Wondery podcast episode called 48 Classics, The Facebook Detectives. We'll hear from everyone, her friends, her partner, neighbors, even the detective on the case.
So like a 360-degree view of this whole thing.
You got it. Ready to put on your detective hats?
Absolutely. Let's crack this case wide open.
First things first, who was Lisa Stone?
Well, from what we hear in the podcast, she was like full of life, loved to have fun, and really valued her friendships.
The life of the party kind of person.
Yeah, you could say that. Energetic, maybe a tad insecure sometimes, but super connected to her friends, especially her high school crew.
Tight-knit group.
Totally. But, life hadn't always been easy for her. She had lost her siblings, her mom, and then her dad, too.
Oh, that's rough.
It was. So she leaned on her friends a lot, especially after all that. And then there's the money situation. She inherited a bunch of money, but ended up, spending it all.
Leaving her in a tough spot.
Exactly. And this is where things get interesting, especially as we get into how she disappeared.
Right, because there's her partner of over 15 years, Sherry Henry. The podcast has interviews with Sherry, and she says they were, like, super in love.
Okay.
But Lisa's friends, they paint a different picture. They say Sherry was controlling and might have been taking advantage of Lisa, especially financially.
So two very different stories.
Which is a big part of what makes this whole case so interesting. You've got Sherry saying it was a loving relationship, and Lisa's friends really worried about Sherry's behavior. It's important to remember both sides,
Absolutely. All perspectives matter.
Now, things take a turn on June 5th, 2010. This was the last time anyone saw Lisa. Her neighbor, Juanita Bruce, saw her that day.
Okay.
And here's the thing, Lisa. She was always on Facebook, right? Posting, commenting, the whole 9 yards. But that day, silence, nothing.
That's strange, especially for someone who's usually active online.
Totally. Imagine you log on and a friend who's always there is just gone. And then to make things even weirder, a few days later, there's this message from Lisa's Facebook account.
What?
Yeah. But her friends are convinced it wasn't actually her. They think Sherry sent it.
So who actually had access to Lisa's account? That's a huge question.
Huge. And that's where the friends really turn into, like, detectives. They made a whole Facebook page to find Lisa. They were gathering tips, following every lead.
Wow, so they took matters into their own hands.
They did. And you got to think, if they hadn't noticed she was gone online, who knows how long it would have taken for anyone to realize something was wrong.
Social media, powerful tool, right?
For sure. And their digging led them to some crazy places. Like, they even searched a muddy creek bed because someone said they saw Sherry there covered in mud weeks after Lisa vanished.
They were serious about finding their friend.
Oh, yeah. They were all in.
And then, like a scene straight out of a movie, one of the friends, Joanne, spots Sherry at a dumpster.
No way.
Yeah, and guess what she sees?
Lisa's stuff.
Bingo. Some of Lisa's belongings were just tossed in there.
I can't even imagine seeing your friend's stuff like that. Must have been heartbreaking.
Totally. This wasn't just speculation anymore. This dumpster incident, it was like, bam, proof that something was seriously wrong.
And finally, the Dallas police, they started taking things more seriously. They brought in Detective Jim Gallagher to head up the investigation.
Yeah, Detective Gallagher, he was a seasoned investigator. He saw right through the inconsistencies in Sherry's story, and, he really took all the evidence Lisa's friends had gathered seriously.
He zeroed in on some key things, right? The dumpster, obviously. And then there was Lisa's bathroom. It was spotless, even though the rest of the house was kind of dusty and looked untouched.
Huh, the spotless bathroom. That's weird.
Right. Like, if you're going out of town or something happened, would you just deep clean the bathroom?
Not really. It definitely raises some eyebrows.
And then there's this whole thing with Lisa's furniture. A neighbor saw a bunch of it piled up outside and asked Sherry about it.
Oh, yeah. What was her story?
Sherry said she donated it to the Salvation Army and that Lisa was there when they picked it up.
But?
Yeah, there's a but. The police, they talked to the Salvation Army, and guess what?
No record of a pickup.
Nope. And no one remembers seeing Lisa there either.
So Sherry's story starts to crumble.
Big time. especially with that whole I'm not on Facebook thing, yet that weird message appeared on Lisa's account.
So many red flags.
Right. And as Detective Gallagher digs deeper, he starts to think maybe Lisa didn't just disappear. Maybe something worse happened.
He suspected foul play.
He did. He started to believe Lisa might have been murdered and that Sherry was somehow involved.
Okay, so then what's the motive? Why would Sherry harm Lisa?
Well, there are a few possibilities. Remember how Lisa had money troubles?
Yeah.
Her friends were helping her out financially, and they think Sherry might have been, well, taking advantage of that.
Using her.
Maybe. Sherry says Lisa had a drug problem and was in debt, but there's no proof to back that up.
Interesting.
Then there's this statement from a neighbor, Susan Scott, who said Sherry had a girlfriend.
A secret girlfriend.
Yeah, apparently. So, could jealousy be a motive? Maybe Sherry wanted to be with this other woman, and Lisa was in the way.
That's possible, but maybe Lisa knew about the girlfriend and it wasn't a big deal. We don't know for sure.
True. And Detective Gallagher also considered maybe Lisa's death was an accident, like maybe a drug overdose, and Sherry panicked and tried to cover it up.
Makes sense, especially if Lisa was struggling with addiction like Sherry claims.
Yeah.
The fear of getting in trouble could lead to some bad choices.
But do they ever find anything like solid evidence to prove any of those theories?
Sadly, no. They searched Lisa's house, talked to Sherry a bunch of times, but nothing concrete came up to show if it was foul play or an accident.
So frustrating, especially for Lisa's friends. They put so much into finding out what happened.
Yeah, and Sherry, she still says she's innocent, that she has no clue where Lisa is.
But she never really answered those key questions, right? Like when she last saw Lisa or where she thinks Lisa might be?
Nope, she actually kind of turned it around, accusing Lisa's friends of harassing her and making stuff up.
Makes you wonder, if you were innocent, wouldn't you do everything you could to help?
You'd think so, right? But without any hard proof, the police, they were stuck. It became a cold case.
So what's the takeaway from all this? It's kind of scary, you know? Even when friends and the police do everything they can, sometimes the truth stays hidden.
Yeah, it really shows how complicated relationships can be, but also how strong friendships are. And we see how social media, it can be helpful and harmful at the same time.
Like a double-edged sword, right? It helps us connect, but it also puts our lives out there for everyone to see. And in Lisa's case, maybe what she shared online wasn't the whole story.
And even with all those digital breadcrumbs, it wasn't enough to bring her home.
It's a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But Lisa's friends, they never gave up hope. They still keep her memory alive. They had a memorial service, dedicated a park bench to her, and they still update that Facebook page they made.
It's really inspiring how dedicated they are to her. They haven't let her be forgotten.
It's a good reminder to appreciate our friends and to keep fighting for what's right, no matter what.
It also makes you think, if someone like Lisa, who was so online, could just vanish, what does that mean for the rest of us? What will our digital footprints say about us when we're gone?
Big questions, for sure. This case reminds us that some mysteries might never be solved, even in this day and age. If you have any information about Lisa Stone, please reach out to the Dallas Police Department. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Facebook detectives. Be sure to subscribe to our show for more stories like this.